Hi, good morning and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nurfaika binti Basar. News for today, the cost of living is a measure of how much money it costs to live and average quality of life needed by individuals to cover basic expenses such as housing, food, taxes and healthcare in a certain place and time period. This is because we must budget our daily life expense depends on our salary and wages. We often talk about the cost of living between different places like the difference between cities or the difference between the country. As an example, people who live in city like Kuala Lumpur apparently has the highest cost of living. It is because standard of living in this city usually high where daily expense such as rent, food and entertainment are higher than other places. That means it costs more money to maintain an average quality of life in Kuala Lumpur compared to other states in Malaysia. We can see that every state with a different cost of living. It is quite clear that Perlis, Kelantan and Kedah are three of the cheapest states to live in. We only factor the cost for housing.
Today I would like to report about the current issue that has been happened in Malaysia. There are three current issues that has been happened in Malaysia related to the cost of living. The first current issue is the pandemic of COVID-19. As we know that Malaysia has been affected by coronavirus.
Coronaviruses are a large family of viruses that get their name from the halo of spike proteins on their outer surface.
Due to COVID-19, the government decided to do the movement control order.
Kerajaan memutuskan untuk melaksanakan perintah kawalan pergerakan.
All people must work from home and stay at home. People must work from home to prevent from getting affected by coronavirus. The second issue is lost job. Most of the company must close during the movement control order because everyone has to work from home. However, the company still need to pay the workers' salary. The company needs to reduce the number of employees to save the cost. This is because the workers not produce any output during the MCO. During the movement control order, the company obtained a lower profit but high in expenditure. To save the cost from getting deficit, the company did not have any choices except to reduce the number of employees. The lost job made the cost of living increase drastically because people do not have monthly income, and as we know that cost of living tied to the salary. Okay, the last current issue is economic decline.
Malaysia has suffered its worst economic contraction in over 2 decades. The economy contracted 17.1% in the second quarter, coronavirus lockdown measures and a collapse in global trade taking their toll.
Economic sector is the most sector that have been affected during the pandemic of COVID-19. There are many sectors of employment that cannot be carried out, such as business or any work that is related with people face to face. The government also require a high expenditure in any sectors, especially in medical sector. This is because the government needs to provide the mask, PPE and so on for the frontliners. Okay, that's all the main current issues that have been happened in Malaysia. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum, I am Sakina. Today I would like to report about the policies of cost of living due to COVID-19. The government give priority to the issue faced by the society about the issue cost of living in the COVID-19 situation. Society are suffering incomes alone. So, the government addressed the issue of this market distortions. Generally, the higher cost of living was driven by the higher price for food, housing and financial. The policy by the government for food. The government takes strong action against the manipulator and profiteer. It is because the government has too powerful legislation. They also give greater priority to local food production so that they can decrease food import and increase more local product, so the food price are cheaper. They also give assistance to the poor by lending money to continue their business. It is because most of society feels not defendable, so they cannot continue their business. The policy by the government for houses. The government efforts through policy and programs be to reduce the price of houses to the affordable price. The government can help people buy houses by building affordable housing such as Prima and so on. The government also lend money for the wealthy to buy a first house. Lastly, the policies by government about financial. The government invests in society empowerment and financial literacy programs to empower society to better manage their consumption in this challenging time, as well as better manage their finance to ensure their financial well-being, especially for jobless. They also the program Financially Wise for the wealthy to stabilize their finances and start a new life. They also teach another way to get the income, like start the business and so on. To conclude, consumers are suffering. The government give priority to address the issue and concern.
Assalamualaikum. Thank you, Farika. My name is Ifdi Budiman. I will talk about statistics. Statistics that related with cost of living. I have two statistics. The first one is about consumption of household during the pandemic COVID-19 period, specifically on July 2020 and August 2020. From these statistics, we can conclude that households are not spending their money on goods and services much because they are not confident enough to spend. Okay, why they are not confident enough to spend? This is related with the second statistics. The second statistics shows about unemployment rate in Malaysia, including the year 2020, which are on January 2020 until April 2020. From the statistics, we can conclude that many households are losing their job during the COVID-19 period.
Lepas PKP.
Lepas PKP you hilang kerja lah.
Yalah.
Bulan apa you hilang kerja? 1 bulan lalu lah.
Ya, 1 bulan
lalu lah.
This is why households are not spending much on goods and services, because the probability of household to lose their job is high. Moreover, households who have lost their job will not also spending so much because they are saving for their future use. Lastly, it also shows that the price of goods and services is higher than the average of households can spend. That is why households is not spending much during the COVID-19 period. That's all from me. Thank you.
What has been done by the government? Among initiatives that have been introduced by the government are BPN, Bantuan Perhentian Nasional, and PKB40. For the BPN, Bantuan Perhentian Nasional, each allocates around 10 ringgit Malaysia that has been distributed in stages.
Kerajaan akan menyalurkan bantuan secara terus kepada 10.6 juta penerima yang telah diluluskan di bawah BPN sebelum ini.
For PKB40, it's a healthcare scheme that provided by the government that focuses on the low-income group with non-communicable disease.
Sebenarnya semalam saya menonton TV dengan berita pihak kerajaan mengadakan skim untuk kesihatan ni, maka saya pun mengajak teman saya cuba mendaftarkan diri.
Pasal ini adalah satu skim B40 sesuai untuk warga MAS, so rasa nak ikut serta.
There are some challenges in cost of living in Malaysia. The challenge you know that Johor, Kuala Lumpur and Selangor are the most expensive to live in, while in Kedah, Kelantan and Perlis, the cost of living is cheaper. Okay, the next challenge in cost of living is COVID-19 outbreak. During the pandemic of COVID-19, many households have lost their job, so they have no income. The sudden outbreak impacted their cost of living.
We can conclude that the issue of rising cost of living, the policy approach must be multidimensional and must include measures to address urbanization such as housing and connectivity, improving financial awareness and enhancing productivity and income. This will enable the average lower income earners and mid-income class to move up the value chain towards higher value-added jobs to achieve higher incomes and hence afford a higher standard of living.